How come it won't Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Cordelicchio. Want to welcome you to another version, a late night version of Destination Health Podcast. I'm actually doing the podcast from my house today. I am in my basement, was doing a little work down here, and I said, I think I'm going to stay here. So we want to welcome back for part two, Brianne McDonough. Brianne, how are you today? What's going on in your world?
I'm good. Oh, just the startup of school, getting ready for fall, Halloween, picking out Halloween costumes,
I'm
the
not a
same old.
fall guy. I'm not a fall guy. I don't like the fall.
Ah,
I like
not either.
I like the summer. I like the sun.
Yes.
I like to be at LBI. I like to have a good time that way, and so forth and so on. So for me, that's what I'm into. So we'll see what happens with the fall. My son plays hockey. We were in Minnesota the last couple of days. Hold on, my computer's ready to crash here. All right, I had to turn on.
Oh,
Let's
no.
see if it's on. All right, hold on. No, it's not.
crashing.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. That's the
Oh,
first time
beautiful.
that's ever happened. But that's
It's
okay.
all right.
It's first time for everything. So I
You
wish I was
saved
at
the day.
I wish I was at LBI right now, because if I was at LBI,
Me too.
I'd be sitting in the front of
Your
the
computer wants to be an LBI.
I'd be sitting right in the front of the house doing the podcast. It'll be fun, and it's always good. But anyway, we wanted to do a part two because we had a great conversation for part one. And just to give a little overview, Brianne was a dancer. She had goals of going into New York City, but she developed an eating disorder. She was anorexic. It became a life and death situation. Her parents helped her out. She got a lot of support from her parents. They were going to take her away into a facility where she could get better. And she came out from the other side. And it was something that it's an interesting, it's a very interesting conversation. She overcame, and we always like to talk about motivating, educating, and inspiring. And this is an inspiring story. You're able to trust again and so forth, because you went through the tough time, during that time, right?
Yes.
It was really crazy.
Definitely the toughest.
So now,
Yeah.
I want to continue on because I have some more questions. So the first question is, how do you not go back to that lifestyle? What was it, or what is it in your life that keeps you away from having that eating disorder again?
It just you knew it was gonna crush you like right into the ground.
Yeah.
You knew that wasn't life.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't how you should be living. And also you couldn't live to be to your fullest potential, or who you wanted to be, or who I thought I was not. Like the visions I dreamed of being couldn't even get close to in that lifestyle. Like it's just not, you don't feel good. You realize
Right.
everything about you, everything is just not, that's not.
It's just not who you are, and that's just not
No.
what you want to be, right? That's
No.
crazy. So let me ask you a question.
Sucked into becoming healthier and becoming better, and
You want to be the
realizing.
best version of yourself
Yeah.
when it
I always
comes
say
to
that.
this, right?
I always
You want
say
to be. Now, let me ask you this question. Now that you've overcome this, right?
Right.
And when you're helping somebody out, how do you get them to stay motivated? How do you get them to continue on with the program? Because I find when I have somebody come into my office, you know what they do, Brianne? It's like they have a difficult time taking that first step, and then the next step, and then the next step. And how do you keep yourself and somebody that you're working with motivated to keep going and be consistent with all of this?
Right. So I will say, like, the motivation is not always going to be there. That motivation is not like the driving factor of it. You will not always be motivated. Like, everyone can relate to that. You wake up some days and you're just like, oh my gosh, I just want to stay in bed.
Yeah.
But what makes you get out of bed is your discipline. I always say discipline is the biggest thing that you could have. Your discipline to stay consistent, your discipline to keep becoming a better person than
Mhm.
who you are, your discipline to keep working at
Mhm.
things, and doing it even when you are not motivated. You tell yourself, well, I said I was doing this, I'm doing it. Let me just
Mhm.
get up.
And
So I
just
feel like, yeah, the biggest factor is to stay disciplined. I mean, and
how do you stay disciplined when you're working out every day? Because you work about just about every day, right?
I do, except for Sundays. I let that alarm go. I shut the alarm off. I don't even know
And
it
and
exists.
you just sleep in. So what is that discipline for you?
So that discipline, I will say, is having a strong accountability, having like accountability with people. So I know, find your why. That's my first step, is always to find your why.
Right,
Why do you want to do this?
right.
So especially after I had my children, my why was definitely for my children.
Isn't that the way it is all the time though, right? Your why becomes your children, right?
It
Crazy.
is. I became the healthiest and the most in shape after I had my children, because I found my why and I was like, I need to stay healthy for them. I need to be the best version of me for them.
Right.
So on those days when you are not motivated and you don't want to get up, or you don't want to do what you're supposed to do, and
Mhm.
you have to remember your why. It all starts with your why and your mindset. And then that helps you to discipline yourself. It helps you then to stay consistent, and it helps you to dig deep on the days that you're just
Mhm.
not motivated.
Right. Now, you're very consistent with your working out. That's for sure. I mean, you're going 6
Yes.
days a week. And talk about consistency when it comes to working out, because I know I'm getting frustrated. I've been working
Yes.
out regularly now for 3 months, and you can see some changes. And I'm saying to my coach, because I'm training for a show, I'm saying to my coach, and I said to him, my son said, Dad, you can move some of that weight. He's like impressed. Dad can bench still a little bit, right? And
Right.
but it's very frustrating when you don't see the results, and we all want those results right away, but we got to be consistent in order to make sure that we get those results. Talk about consistency.
Right. So I think consistency, all of these factors are very important. Consistency does play a huge role in it. If you are not consistent, it's going to be hard. And you need to tell yourself, even if you're not seeing those results, or it doesn't come overnight, it's
Mhm.
going to take time. It's I just recent like my who I am now has come over. Like, let's say I told you my kids were the big driving factor for me. My oldest son is 6. So it's been 6 years of me really digging deep to become like a better form of myself and become who I am today.
Mhm.
It does not come overnight. It takes time. They always say trust the process, and making a plan has been the huge, like, driving factor to help my consistency. I plan out everything, whether it's for the week, whether it's for the month. Um, Plan out, let's see, Sundays, I plan out my workouts for the week. I plan out the meals for the week.
So what do you do? Do you write this all down, and do you like keep it somewhere that you can see it? And you
I
have so you have your
do
meal
love,
prep, you have your
yes.
you have your workout, you have I got to take the children here for ballet classes, I got to go here for this. There's the dentist. You map every minute out of every day.
So not, I do now that the kids are older. I'm sure people will relate to this. You definitely, the schedules are a little crazy.
Oh yes.
So I do have a daily planner. I'm old school. I have like I know people go by their iPhone calendar, but
I can't do
like to
that.
write. No, I like to write stuff out so I can see it.
Right.
I will plan. I write out when everyone has to practice appointments, like whatever it might be. And then, yes, on Sundays, while we're having our Sunday morning pancakes and enjoying ourselves, maybe a couple of mimosas, now getting ready for football. I do put in the grocery order and I do plan out for the week. Okay, what are we going to eat for the week? And then I have it, I say order because now that we're so busy, I do the grocery delivery. It cuts out a lot of time.
Right.
And then that helps me. So then when it is delivered to the house, well, football's on now, or even if it was a Sunday, we were hanging out by the pool, I could just start cooking in the house. Batch cooking has always been the best, like make a large portion so it lasts you through for a couple days. So in your busy times, it's one less thing you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about stopping to get pizza on the way home or whatever it is, you have.
Because that's very easy. We're coming out of the rink and they're hungry. There's a pizzeria, there's some fast food restaurant. And then all of a sudden you just got to jump into it because you're just hungry. You've been at the rink for 5 hours. But
and the thought of cooking is like, oh God, there's no way.
Right. And we just got back.
It's very easy on like a Sunday when you have nothing going on, or if you have nothing going, like Mondays, we don't have anything going on, which is great. It's the one day. So if I have to cook on Mondays for the week, like it is also very easy to set aside an hour of your time to cook meals that will last you a couple of days. Right. It's just as easy to do that if you plan ahead.
So what you're doing is that so what you're doing is you're planning your healthy week, and it's that you're an organizer. And I find when I'm more organized, I'm able to function actually better. So I know what time I'm getting up. I know what time I'm doing this. I know what time I'm doing that. It's already set. There's no issues. There's no runs. There's no hits. There's no errors when it comes to any of that stuff, right? So you just get up, and so you're food prepping on Sunday, Monday for the rest of the week. And you're planning out your week because you have kids, and when you have kids, it's just like that, right? You have to, and if you want to work out, you have to fit it in when they're either at school or like you get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and you're out there running and you're just doing what you have to do.
3:45,
3:45. That's early for me. I'm just kind of like getting the blankets and putting it over me at that point. But it is, you have to be organized when it comes to this, because if you want a healthy lifestyle in the modern world, you need to be organized. And if you're not, it's going to be a very difficult type of a thing. So let's spend some time here. Okay, you're working out, you're running, you're working out with weights. What do you eat? What is your, how do you fuel your body? And what are your recommendations when you're working with somebody or you're giving advice to somebody? Because what happens is that over the last couple of years, individuals have gone into that middle aisles of the supermarket, right? And they've just purchased everything from that middle aisle. So it's the sugary soda, it's the cakes, the candies, the cookies. All right. How do you fuel your body? Because you're working out all the time.
Right. So I say the best way possible is to shop the perimeter of the food market. So for instance, on the perimeter, you will find your fresh fruits and vegetables. You will find your lean meats, your seafood. All of that stuff is found along the perimeter of the grocery store. So I do love cooking with fresh fruits and vegetables, or like eating fresh fruits throughout the day. That's apples or whatever it might be. I know summertime's a lot easier on fresh fruits. Now that we're in the fall, it's like,
wait, it's still summertime. I think we have a couple of more days left. So
a couple more days. You got it.
I bought blueberries the other day, so I was happy, and some strawberries, so I'm good.
So great. So I do love cooking with fresh vegetables, whether you're saute your vegetables or roast your vegetables or do some sort of you could cook vegetables over the oven and then use the sauce in it. You could always find a way to add the healthy carbs, because you do definitely need some of those. Or
What are
if you're
healthy
like me,
carbs? Because a lot of people
body,
ask me this question all the time, and
they do.
they're always saying, what are the good carbs? Because I'm going and I'm eating crackers and I'm eating, stuff like that, which is,
Right.
I'm sure we're in agreement is bad carbs. What are some good healthy carbs people can eat?
So some of my favorite to cook with, especially for pasta lovers, because I grew up in Italian. So knowing really hard, there's a brand of, like, for instance, brown rice.
Right.
Quinoa is so good. You can make, even especially in the fall or in the summer, there are awesome quinoa salads. In the fall, you can give a little bit of a harvest twist to your quinoa salad. And in
Hmm.
oh my God, the fall quinoa salads are the best. I love them. Brown rice, and there's even brown rice pasta.
Hmm.
So cook up some brown rice pasta. I don't know how to pronounce this name, but I love it. It's Tinkada. Tinkada.
That sounds
Like, I
good.
always pronounce it wrong.
That's good. That
It
sounds
tastes
good.
just like regular pasta, but it's
Right.
brown rice pasta. Sometimes I'll throw it over some sauteed vegetables and fresh chicken. And oh my God, it's like heaven. You could even you don't need to add like if you make like a pasta salad out of it, you don't, I just use like fresh, a little bit of olive oil and vinegar and like fresh basil,
Hmm.
cook with herbs. It's great. So the health carbs, my personal favorite are the brown rice pasta and the quinoa to cook with.
Yeah.
Some people, you could throw in like chickpeas, you could throw in kidney beans,
Hmm.
sweet potatoes. Now that it's coming up, not yet fall, but coming into fall,
Right.
sweet potatoes. Those are all like considered the healthier.
Those are some very good healthy carbs, in addition to,
Those
apples,
are some of my
pears,
favorites.
apples,
Yes,
pears, blueberries, strawberries. I love
yes.
the berries, especially in the summer. We did, we found
Berries are
some,
great.
nectarines the other day. They're not as sweet and they're not as good, but you know what? They're pretty good. So
No.
I like to hold on to summer as long as I possibly can when it comes to. Now, when you're eating, do you eat every 3 hours? Do you eat every 2 hours? You eat just 3 meals a day? You know,
So it's funny. Some people this does not work for, and that's why I
Mhm.
work with people on this. And some people it does. I've always, before even knowing this type of schedule, it has always been me, intermittent fasting.
Mhm.
So I've never been a first thing in the morning eater.
Mhm.
My entire life, I've never eaten first thing in the morning. I usually, as I am right now, I'm
Mhm.
such a lover. I'll make my tea, I'll heat it up like 10 times before I
Mhm.
actually finish the cup. Um, yep. So I've also never liked to eat before I've worked out.
Yeah, I don't like that
Like
either.
like a meal.
Right.
It's not me. Some people, now this is what I always say, everyone is different, and you kind of have to figure out like what works. You could take hints or you could take advice from other people. But like even my own mother, who's like my mom, she's completely opposite. She
Mhm.
has to eat first thing in the morning.
Right.
I'm just not that kind of person. So I've always followed like the intermittent fasting kind
Mhm.
of schedule where I do not eat in the morning, but I do have my tea. I take like my BCAs after when I'm done working out,
Mhm.
and I need to like get things situated,
Mhm.
because then like really around like 10, 11 o'clock is when like I will have something. I'll have like my protein shake, a
Mhm.
couple eggs with it,
Right.
apples with it. So that's when I have my first meal.
Right. Sure.
In addition, I'm not a nighttime eater. So typically after, I just can't go to bed if I eat late. Like my stomach just never agreed with it. So typically after like 7 o'clock, I do not eat past 7. It's just always been me because I'll have trouble falling asleep. I've just never been able to do that. So basically my window is from 11 to 7 is when I
Mhm.
have my meals. And that's
Mhm.
called intermittent fasting. And there actually are a lot of benefits to that in terms of how your body burns fat. You give
Mhm.
your body time to recover. Some people it is not for, or sometimes they switch up their windows. Like they may eat more in the morning and then stop eating at 5 or
Right.
whatever the case might be. Some people are an every 3 hour thing. That intermittent fasting does not work for them. But however it is, whatever your body does, it is good to make sure you are getting in all your food groups and
Sure.
whatever, the lean meats, the protein, some fruits and vegetables, the healthy fats, the healthy carbs within your day. So that's
Absolutely.
why it's important to get to know who you're working with. But some people, yeah, that intermittent fasting has worked for me. I've
It has
always,
worked, and it helps. It kind of helps settle things. Now, I have
yes,
one more question.
yes.
Okay, goal setting. How do you set
Oh,
your goals, and what are your goals now?
huge. So goal setting is huge. That is what also helps to keep you motivated. So I personally, you don't know, like, how do I set goals? What do I want?
Hmm.
Some people just start with like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds.
Hmm.
And from there, they realize, oh, hey, um, I want to go do a body competition, or
Hmm.
I want to go do a race. For me, it was racing.
Hmm.
Or some people want to continue after that to lose more weight or to
Hmm.
set other goals. So for me, it was always running. It was always racing. I love the feeling, the process, the
Right.
feeling of completing a race, hitting my race. Um, I started with 5K, and over the 10 to 12 years it's been, never a runner before, never ran. I'm now into like half marathons and full marathons.
That's
So
great.
yeah, my big goal is to hit an out I've hit an hour and half
Nice.
marathon. I want to be sub that.
That's nice.
Um,
So
we'll say,
that's a nice goal to have. I like
yeah,
that. And you know what? When you set goals, you teach your children also, right? When you're setting
yes,
goals, because they want to you want them to thrive in life. You want them to be the best versions of yourself. So,
yeah,
yeah, we're at that half an hour mark right now. And I know it's late, and I wanted to come on and I wanted to finish our conversation because we had a great one. Our first time, we just had another great one. We're going to have you on again at some point in the future. Let's see where you're at. Let's see what you're doing. So, any last words for our listening audience out there?
last words. What I always say, find your why and keep getting better every day.
Every single day.
Little
Don't.
progress adds up to a lot.
So, you know what? A lot of my listeners know that I like to joke sometimes, but let's get serious. I mean, eating disorder, anorexia, overcoming that, and just thriving in life. So, this is a story that you need to share with family and friends and coworkers and everybody, because what happens is that, you have to find your why, and you got to get motivated in life. So, Brianne,
You
thank you
do.
very much for your time tonight.
Thank you
Always
so much for having me.
Always a pleasure. Want everybody to share this with family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, because this is an incredible story of anorexia to success. And we're going to have a part one and part two within the same week, which will probably be next week. And we're going to rock and roll.
Yay.
Yeah. So I'll make sure I tag
Always
you.
rocking and rolling.
Always rocking and rolling. So thank you, everybody, for listening today. Live your best life. Thank you very much for coming on. And we will talk to everybody soon. Take care. Bye bye.